Welcome to the UIUC Talkshow, a show where we talk with the most interesting people with the most interesting ideas. Today we have Samuel Samuel Steiner.
Yes.
What's up?
All good. Yes. Samuel, Sam, Samuel. I've heard all of the possible permutations of it here in the US. It's very weird. But yeah, Sam. No, it's all good. I'm very happy to be here in the show. I've heard good things about it, a place to talk about stuff, about experiences, people, places. So yeah, I'm very excited to talk a lot with these guys. Yeah,
Don't worry, it's not therapy.
that's good to know.
It is a kind of a way of a therapy in a way.
You think? Well, that's good. Then I have like millions of therapists in the future when this blows up, no?
Yeah. So, what's that shirt? Where are you from?
My whole thing. So
Just quickly, But
very simple, very direct. I'm from the country of Venezuela, the city of Maracaibo. I was born and raised there until 18 years old. Then I came here to University of Illinois, doing civil engineering. I've been here 4 years. And this shirt is one that I like a lot because this is a shirt of the Venezuelan soccer team, the national men's soccer team. I really like it. It's very proud for me to wear it when I wear it.
You mean football?
Football, soccer, but it depends on who I'm talking with,
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much. I've always liked to see matches of the Copa America and the qualifiers of our team. Our team is very bad. For experience,
Yeah.
Our team is very bad.
never been to the World Cup.
Never been to World Cup, never won the Copa America. But we like to see it. It's one of our national sports. We're very proud to see it. We like it, pretty much. But yeah.
Before we started this thing, we were talking about, when you're great, this greatness leads to some sort of impairment in a way of okay, if you're great, if you're a genius, can you not be social, stuff like that? And you were giving some examples, what do you think of that question? Do you think people who are great at something, people who are obsessed and geniuses and quote unquote geniuses, do you think they're not fully complete people?
Many people tend to believe, now that I'm trying to avoid this topic again, many people tend to believe that geniuses or being smart, that term of smartness, of being beyond what most people think is normal for a man to think, is something that happens, to a very few people. So it's very specific, the situations that happen. Personally, what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've read is a situation in which, of course, a lot of people who are geniuses tend to have a lot of accomplishments, since their intellect allows them to have many more accomplishments that many other people wouldn't have been able to have. So what we talked about this before, and I like to think about, is what is the cost of that, of having that intellect, of having that capacity on their brains to have those achievements, but then there is a cost to it. What do they lose? What is the cost-benefit ratio of it? Is it even worth it to try to get these accomplishments with your intellect, even though you are missing out on something? What I've saw before is a thing about a social dynamic that many people lose, especially if you are doing this at a very young age. When you're in your formative years, when you're trying to be a man, when you're trying to be an adolescent, when you are trying to learn stuff, not about the whole world or mathematics and physics and engineering, about learning about what it means to be you, right? So that is where I draw the line about what is now not a very good cost-benefit ratio, in which a lot of people who, when they're geniuses and they're the famous gifted child situation, but they're very young, and they lose being with their peers and they lose being with their friends. Of course, they'll probably graduate high school being 14 years old, but then move on with their lives missing something, because humans are social creatures. That's how we evolved. That's how we are today. That's why we are the dominant species in the planet.
How do you see that in your life, though? Like, do you think you're missing something? Are you not missing anything? Like, how do you think of that question and as you apply that into your life?
That also raises the question, though, that do you think you fall in that category of people?
I don't, personally.
Okay.
I personally don't, because I don't consider myself as a genius. I'm not. And I know very few people who are. In Venezuela, when I was young, I remember it actually being called like a gifted child. Oh, this kid is gonna be a genius, the next, Albert Einstein. But they tell so many people that, because the range in which it is acceptable to call someone a gifted child being young is very, very easy to reach. That minimum point. Oh, he knows how to do a function when the rest of her classmates don't. He's a genius child. He's very smart.
Child prodigy.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
but going back to the kind of the question is like, okay, they probably made a right prediction. It's just you decided to live a different lifestyle per se. Like let's say like in order to become a genius, you probably needed to spend 4 hours doing math after school, and like you didn't want to do that. You wanted to go play soccer. So how much of that goes into that question? Do you think that's, or like even now in college, like maybe like if you spend all your time in the Granger library,
Yeah.
you would I don't know, have a better internship, or like I don't know, you would get better grades, or you would have developed some sort of like better way to build buildings.
I think it all comes down to the fact of what you feel happy with. If I feel happy going to the Granger Library 4 hours a day and going and trying to make as sexual work as possible and competing for all the possible best internships, then I will be doing that. But the thing is, I personally don't think for myself, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I personally think that is not what makes me happy. What makes me happy is being a civil engineer, not as a minimum, but as a good way of doing it that I see for myself. Having friends, having a family, having hobbies, doing other stuff, being diverse, essentially, on what I do with my life. Not just studying. Being a civil engineer is not all I am, or I will be. Not that I finished yet.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully you finish.
for that. But essentially is that. So it is true. If we're a gifted child, he truly wants to do that. Even if he's fully focused like a horse in a race, just going to the straight line, and that goal is to be as smart as possible. Then in that case, yeah, it's probably worth it to miss out on all of that could have happened and just straight go to the finish line. In that case, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. But I do think, like different, kind of lifestyles, they like I said, they yield different returns.
True
So
that.
it's not like, it's like people who get successful, like they get lucky, or like people who do like insane things, it's like, oh yeah, they just stumble upon. A lot of it is just like you said, sacrificing a big question. So what makes you, you mentioned like family and things, but like here, for instance, like what makes you truly happy, and how do you know that's actually making you happy?
That is, books have been written about this, and most people don't know the answer. That's very sad. I think,
Have you figured it out?
no, of course not. I won't lie to you, I haven't figured that out. And if someone does, either they're extremely like self-being is very like they know about themselves so much, or they're lying. The pursuit of happiness, essentially, for me, I'm trying to still figure it out, but it's a balance of goodness, essentially. I cannot have much of something. I cannot play too much soccer. I cannot study too much. I cannot go partying too much. I cannot do cardio, or too much gym, or too much on my bike, or reading books, or talking about politics, or talking about history, or talking about mathematics with people. I think for me, what is happiness is all of those and many other more is a balance of how they say this, interaction with each. I cannot only do this all day. because then it's mundane, then it's a routine,
Right.
and then it loses the happiness, it loses the love of it. I think there's a quote about that literally the killer of love or the killer of happiness is routine, doing the same thing every day. I want to do that. So I don't try to be as diverse as possible, then I lose focus. I just focus on a number of ones that I liked because of my upbringing and what I was essentially coded in my brain to like. A few things: soccer, engineering, history, debate, being with friends. Those are the principal ones, yeah, among others. But yeah.
So do you think scarcity or the lack of having something, that's what's making you value it more?
That's a good question. Does scarcity allow me to value something more? I mean, in economic terms, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. If I have just one phone, I know that that phone is expensive. I know that phone is valuable for its intrinsic usefulness that I have for it. And I do consider it valuable for myself, as well as my computer, as well as many other things. I think that is true, yes. As less there is of something, as less of the supply I have in my control of something, I will put a bigger value on it. But I think it's more of the usefulness, of the use I have of this item that will give me to put it the biggest amount of value possible. And it's not, and in that case, won't be something about supply or demand. It's about how useful it is for me. If I have to give an example, I would think, I don't know, like water. I drink a lot of water in the all days. I need it all days, and it's very valuable for me, you know. But I have a lot of it, but it's still valuable. I don't know. It's not a good example, no.
I don't know. You could bring something like, I don't know, like party or soccer or things like that. Like, let's say if you play soccer every day, would you lose it?
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
or like
You
you party
still-
every day,
yeah.
or whatever.
Would you still enjoy it as much?
I'll have to say no.
You think so?
If I think about it in, you know, as different examples of how would it be if I did this, I would say that soccer, going out with friends. If I do it every day, I think no, studying I have to do every day, so it's not even a choice. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
And I don't think it loses the value because I still do it. And sometimes I even like doing it, so you know, that's a surprise. But playing soccer, going out, reading stuff, investigating, I do those every day, so, and it doesn't lose value. I do it every day, and I like to do it. So then I will have to divide them in two, between things that I could add high value to it, and I can do a lot of it. So, you know, it's not like the fallacy that I like something a lot, but then I do it so much that I get bored of it, like a popular song. But then there are those who do get in that other category. I don't know how to differentiate them before talking about it, so it's hard to actually divide which is which.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I get the grasp of it. That's good.
So you're saying if you set in a routine, you'll probably get bored of it, right? That's what you're claiming?
I'm claiming there's gonna be two routines. Ones that I intrinsically like to do every day, so I still do those routines, and I have a high value for them. And others that if I did them, I will value them much less. I will have less love for it, less likeness to it. But that's what I said. If I think about it, trying to divide which ones is which will be difficult. But I can, for now, tell you that both exist, and it's not just one answer. It's, you know, two answers, if I think about it.
Then why do people give their entire lives just doing something that they, let's say, did their major in, let's say, college? Let's say you're doing civil engineering, and what's the plan? Like, once you graduate, you're going to be working in that field for your entire life, right?
Essentially.
But the reason you chose civil engineering is because you like it.
Yeah.
But if you end up doing it as a routine every day, don't you think you'll lose that appreciation or that love for it? isn't it like contradictory? Like you're chasing a dream where
It's true.
where you think which will lead you to a path which will make you dislike your biggest interest.
I think at the beginning that won't be applicable because
Yeah.
I'll still have like a young mentality of ambition, of trying to do more because it'll be like a video game essentially. I want to go through each level one by one. You know, I'll start as a junior civil engineer, then I have to do the PE, the certification exams. Then I'm a civil engineer. Then I can go into executive, and each step is years in the making. So there is still like this sense of progress that you get, this sense of gratification that you're doing the same thing. That is true. But each year that passes, each promotion you get, each new job you get, it changes a little bit. Now you're not doing blueprints, now you are certifying them with the city council. Or now you have to do, except of doing calculations of the structures, now you have to do the cost analysis of the project. Then you're a manager. Then you manage all of those people. So it's no longer about being a civil engineer. Now is a people's person of trying to deal with problems in the workplace, right? So in that case, it is like a work progression. Little by little, you know, you start with ambition until you stop because of your age, because now you're a CEO. And then that is where I think the love fades. Because there is nothing more to do. There's no more ambition. There is now the routine of doing the exact same thing. You might be winning $1 million a year because you're CEO of a huge company, or you are a consultant, you know, it's your company and you don't make as much money, but it's still your thing. I think that in that case you have to fight every day mentally to be in order to keep on doing this until you die or you retire or you just quit.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that much of a fight. Is just that
for many people it
like
is.
each level they give you more green paper and you think you're fine. And the thing is, you get more responsibilities. So you get a car, you get a house, you get X, Y thing. So like it's not like you can stop. So you have to keep going.
But a lot of people just retire, you know, like by age, by choose. You can retire a 40-year-old millionaire, and you can be, you know, just ambitious less because that amount of money that you want in your life, then those millions that basically make you able to have your children and your grandchildren never work a day in their lives and still be as good monetarily as you are right now. That makes you, you know, start to lose that passion for your work. Because now it's not for the money, now it's for the love. So when you do the routine of the love, it fades out. That's the way I see it. I've seen a lot of people, like family members and friends, or examples of others who, by the ages that go by, that same, you know, young mentality, working mentality, echar pa'lante, that's a saying in Venezuela that basically means going forward mentality, it starts to fade away the older they are. The less they care, the older they are. The more they just want to rest. They want to, you know, do nothing. A lot of people, they lose that mental battle easily if they make it. Of course, if you don't make it, you still keep going. You still keep climbing. You still keep going in the corporate ladder. Because there is, I hope, that ambition of keep going until the end. And when you get to the end, you're done. That is when you retire. That is when you're done in life. Of course, in all of that, basically talking about the entire life's paradigm of an adult life, you have your children if you want. You have family if you want. You can do hobbies, you can do stuff. And that will keep your mind racing other stuff. But the more you go, the older you get, the more easily you lose that ambition, that love. Because of the routine, because of your age, because you're done. You made it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Change is the only constant.
Change is the only, and time.
Mm-hmm.
But time is a change, so yeah. It is the only
like that.
constant.
And entropy is the ultimate one. But you know, you like reading in history and things like that. Like, what's your favorite like history like event like?
Event?
No, like like a history moment. Like if you could go back and some sort of period, like which one, or maybe if you don't want to go into a specific period, like maybe a person you'd like to go back in time and, hey, what's up? Let's have a conversation real quick.
Ah, that's good. Can I choose difference, or this is like no rules? I just go ahead. Oh, I know.
Just one person.
Oh, one person, not anymore. That's difficult because I want to make it as the best answer as I can for myself.
No, just give whatever you think, and then
You could.
and then
There is a way you can like smartly do it, but I'm not gonna say it now.
no. Listen, just like whatever you think, you say it, and then if you think of someone better, just
Okay, of course. Well, I'm gonna go more global, so I will have to choose.
and then go also
Yeah,
like less.
more detail afterwards. Me personally, if I could go back, I would very, very much like to meet, very simple, Albert Einstein. So it's a very, I know
Bruh,
it's a very
come
simple.
on, man.
I know it's a very simple. I know it's very simple. I know it's very simple. Hey, come on.
Okay, but why?
Okay, why I would like to meet Albert Einstein? Well, the guy. Okay, I will change my answer because I cannot even communicate with him. The guy speaks German.
No, you can't.
He
You
speaks
gotta
Austrian.
you have confidence in your answer.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, maybe like more like lower scale. It doesn't matter. Maybe you want to talk to the 32nd chancellor of the University of Illinois. I don't know, like whatever, like small.
We
scale.
already have one. Why do I want to
Yeah.
talk to the other ones? This is the best we have.
Yeah.
Yes, the chancellor. I love him. Okay, I want to go back, and I would like to meet a Venezuelan president, right?
Okay, who?
A president from my country, Marco Pérez Jiménez. That's his name.
And then say what?
Huh?
And like talk about what?
I want to talk about what was his vision with the nation, because the context for my answer is a little bit detailed. I don't think anyone in the U.S. even knows about Venezuelan history, 20th century. But essentially, this was a president that set a very high standard for the nation. This was a period, a little controversial, but still a period in which Venezuela was at its highest. That was the Senate. After that, it was just decline or stagnation. But that was after him. And before him we were like a poor backwaters country, like insignificant.
Right.
He put us on the map at a cost, but he did it. And he was in power as a dictator, technically speaking, for 80 years. And he made so much. So I want to talk to him and ask him about the vision for the nation. 1950s Venezuela, he was the maximum president, the maximum dictator, the maximum power controller. What was his vision? What he wanted to do? Because he was ousted in power. He didn't die. There were an election. He was kicked off power. He was very young. So it was like this what if he stayed in power for more time, what he would have wanted to do in the nation. I really like the guy because it's a period in my country's history, our country's history, in which it was great, essentially. It was a good time. A lot of people had a lot of opportunities there to live as a common citizen. That's something I really like to know about the common guy there, right? How did he live? How could he make money? How could he develop himself? How could he get that happiness? The best period to do all that was 1950s Venezuela. That's where my grandparents actually came to Venezuela because they knew how good the situation was in Venezuela. They left their first world country of Italy and their first world country of Austria and Czechoslovakia. You know, countries that now are good. Like, to live there is a privilege. They went all the way there to Venezuela without knowing Spanish, and they made their lives there because they knew it was good. So the guy that made all that responsible was him. He chose his ministers. He chose his security advisors. He chose essentially even the governors of the provinces of the country. He micro and macro managed the country so good that it was I think, the fourth largest per capita in the world in GDP terms. Higher than West Germany, higher than most countries in Europe. The only countries bigger are like New Zealand, the US, and I don't know, like Luxembourg or something. But fourth was Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
So I would really like to know how he did it. What was his plans? What was his mentality?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's when my grandpa, I think, got there 1956.
Really?
So yeah, so in the 50s. So that's where everyone from all over the world just coming and I think at one point the currency was like worth more than the dollar.
More? No,
or
that's
like almost. It was like almost equal or something like that.
never. The highest it's been is like $1 was 3 bolivares. So
Something like that.
Like,
But it was
good.
It was good,
Now it's
yeah.
like in the millions.
Yeah.
So you know.
Oh,
Yeah, hyperinflation. You know, so
more than that. It's like
the
trillion.
billions, trillions.
what?
Yeah.
$1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1 if you want to change it. Now is officially speaking is 5.3, 5.2. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah,
checked
but
it
it's
today.
that's
But like that's bolívares fuertes, soberanos, so sovereign bolívares. The amount of times they've done like currency reforms. So currency reforms is
it's probably
just-
more. I guess like the best way to explain it is like probably more zeros that you've ever seen in your life together. Like
yeah.
they probably would not fit in this table.
Yeah.
Trillion or trillion or million?
Trillions.
No, like
I'll
trillion,
say
like more than
trillion.
that. More than that.
Yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
When they got to power.
What?
We're comparing like the now to the when there was
You're
like
like
98,
way
the
back.
Bolivar of 1998. It's trillions and trillions and trillions. It's bad. Yeah.
How is it now?
Well, worse, obviously.
No, but like, how bad?
Not
Bad.
bad. Like people know like $1 or $2 or something. Like
Just
a
like
month.
1% of the population
Yeah.
can truly try to change their currency without destroying themselves financially. Yeah. Like I think the minimum wage there converted to dollars is like $10 a month.
$10?
No, but I think even then it's like a little too much. But because like,
$10 too
like,
much.
that data is all messed up.
It's
But,
always it's very
but,
messed up, but it's a situation in which it's the lowest in the continent. I think it's even one of the lowest in the,
yes,
in
it's
the world
definitely less than 10.
per month.
Yeah.
And even though prices now there are dollarized, so we use
Yeah,
the
so
dollars.
It's become
in
so
stuff.
bad that they actually use dollars to like buy stuff now.
Yeah,
So-
because most of the stuff we eat there is imported. So imagine U.S. prices with minimum wage Venezuela dollar. You know, how do you buy stuff?
So just tricky. But you know, like going back to Pérez Jiménez, right?
Yes.
So he had a different type of government, and you know, we crashed or we audit a philosophy class earlier this week,
Nice.
and one of the things that we were talking about in the class is like, you know, how much of because you have like two systems. You have like a democratic system where, you know, in the concept of science is like, you know, the best ideas wins. You know, you only do what experimental science allows you to, and the other way is like, listen, we're doing this, and just do it. In a more contemporary like, example is more like someone like, you know, Steve Jobs, for instance, where he had the idea he would micromanage everything. And listen, we're gonna make this computer, this phone. I don't care how it gets done. I don't care if it's possible. Just make the touchscreen. Just make X, Y, and Z, or Tesla, or like Elon Musk with the rockets. Everyone was calling him crazy. There's a professor here, and I talked to him. He was telling me that he met the guy, and he was talking about, okay, we're gonna make the rocket, and the rocket's gonna come and land on
Unlike the
back
landing-
to Earth.
the launch panel.
Which is now it's like, oh yeah, that happened.
Now
But
it's a thing,
That is
yeah.
insane. That is insane. And
Yeah.
so he was like, yeah, you're crazy. So he literally just I think he got like escorted out like 2 minutes after out. But whatever. So he was like, listen, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna make it happen. So
Yeah.
you need people like authoritative, like people who are like, listen, I don't care how it's done, just get it done. So it's more like it just seems like our current like system, like democracy, for instance, is like the best we can do because we have like good safe fail mechanisms. So that's why we haven't. But they can definitely come up with better systems where we have micromanagers, or not necessarily that, people with vision who, listen, we're gonna go hard, we're gonna go to the limits, or even beyond the limits itself. And it's just a good question because we don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, if we go down the route, then we run the chance of running into some bad dictator and, you know, for hundreds of years. But with the democracy, you know, we don't make much progress, but we have this safe phone mechanism that no one crazy and like will be doing bad things. So it's just a kind of a weird thing that is happening.
Are you implying that there needs to like a power dynamic always needs to exist in order for progress to happen? You think we
So I don't
can
know- I don't-
never, like the society cannot function as equals?
So I don't think it's about power dynamics.
It is.
No, I don't think
Like
so.
why would anyone listen to Steve Jobs?
I don't think that's a good question, actually. It's like, because like, why would, he didn't even have a college degree. So like, according to our standards of like society,
Oh, yeah, but
he was probably a stupid person or whatever.
but he had power over them. He was giving them money,
Sure.
right? So he had some form of upper hand over the employees.
Listen,
Which gave them a
he got fired. So he didn't have no power. He got fired from his own company.
Yeah,
So like,
but he also came back, but people still listen to him.
Yeah.
right. If they didn't want to, they could have left. But so yeah, so you definitely need someone who like, listen, you're gonna do this thing, like the vision. It doesn't have to be like a power dynamic thing. Just like a vision crazy enough to inspire, or like MLK, for instance. He inspired people to like,
But there has to be a leader leading that.
or like, I don't know, Mahatma Gandhi, for instance. Like, you know, he had the vision. Like, he wasn't telling like, you know, if you don't come, like whatever. Like, no, he was just
He
more
wasn't chosen, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
no.
they're not chosen.
Gandhi.
Gandhi, yes,
Gandhi,
yes, yes.
No, he wasn't like chosen. He was just like, listen, we're gonna
He
do this.
leads by example. Pacifism, that was nice. Yeah, that's true.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, it did the job,
Yeah.
you know. Just that the British botched it, no? With the whole partition. You know, that actually caused the biggest refugee crisis in human history. The partition of India after the Gandhi, you know, the whole independence movement was formalized.
Really? Like the biggest one?
The biggest one in history, yes.
Really?
Of course.
How many millions?
Tens of millions. Because the country of, you know, it's a tangent, but essentially when India was made formally in previous years, like 1300s, 1400s,
It was all like
India-
one big thing.
never.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been a pendulum of being princely states or microstates or any kinds of like billions of states making the continent, and then it goes to one big nation controlling it. It collapses,
Yeah.
unifies, collapses, unifies. That has been essentially the history of India, as well as having countless invasions by other peoples. The Greeks invaded, the Muslims invaded, the Persians invaded, the Afghans invaded, and you know, a bunch of other nations invaded. The Mongols even invaded. They even made their own thing there. So it's always been a continent, because a subcontinent, that's what it is. A subcontinent full of languages, full of religions, full of ways of thinking. The biggest two were essentially Hinduism and, you know, Islam. And then when the British came, you know, East India Company and conquest wars and rebellions, they introduced a little bit of Christianity. But the biggest one is Hinduism and Islam. So when the British, all of that, World War I, World War II, you know, the whole thing of Indians fighting for their country in other places, and then, you know, the British Empire collapses its economy. So they're like, you know what, India is no longer a country that we can sustain, we cannot control anymore, we have no more money. Let's give them independence. 1948.
47.
47. Good. So when they did the partition lines, the British did them. They essentially wanted to make a Islamic controlled country, which essentially made two countries in one. It was Bangladesh and Pakistan, and they want to make a Hindu majority country.
Okay.
So essentially they were making ethnic division lines.
Right.
Very bad idea. Because there were a lot of people in these independence movements who were of all kinds. They didn't care. They would just want to be left alone from European interference. I think even, you know, like India's president or prime minister, one of the first ones was a Muslim, if I'm not mistaken. No? One of the first ones, not the first. Like, first five of prime ministers or presidents.
I don't know.
I'm fairly sure.
Okay.
But I digress. It's a situation in which the division was very poorly made, in which it just was a pencil, just draw a map, just go by the river, you know? No considerations made on what people lived in what part. So a lot of people that were, subscribed to being a Muslim were living, a lot of them in, India, and a lot of people who were Hindus lived in Pakistan. So these nations, they formalized their independence and they made themselves as Hindu majority, Hindu laws and stuff like that, Islamic laws. And these people didn't like that. So they crossed each other, in exchange. The exchange was very badly made because they had, by the beginning of all that, border problems. So the borders were militarized immediately. So now it was a race of time. How fast I can go to the country that won't accept me more. So a refugee. Instead of being a migrant, now you're a refugee because you have to immediately leave your home and never come back. Very sad. But that's the situation that made that.
Like India.
Accurate?
What? Yeah.
Accurate. Yeah, it's like a whole brief history of India.
Like India in Hindi is called like Hindustan, which means
Yeah.
land of Hindu.
Yeah.
Like all the stands over there.
Yeah.
So many.
Damn. Wait, how do you know all of this?
Because I like history. I really like history because it's a way in which we can learn of the past mistakes of our ancestors and people who were before us. What did they do wrong? How could they have done better? If you know what could have happened better, you can try to make it better nowadays by learning their mistakes. Like having a lesson of the people who didn't have a way of knowing. Because they probably made the first mistakes of that kind, or they repeated mistakes. But if you know the repetition or the pattern, the series, you can break it, if you know about it. It's a very interesting way of seeing things. Is to know, like lessons we can take about this history is to know. If you're going to do a decision, have as much information about the context of it as possible in order to make the best decision possible in your regards. The British diplomats probably didn't even know the difference. They didn't care. They weren't, like as intrinsically proven to know about that as they could have been or they should have been. Right. But they didn't. And human lives were lost because of it. And suffering was made. And, that is a lesson. And there are many more. I think even Churchill said that. Those who don't know their history are bound to repeat it.
No, that's true. And
you probably don't know that. You probably don't like that guy a lot, no?
I don't know much about that guy. I still need to
Winston Churchill.
So it's an interesting guy.
I know, yeah.
But there's this quote that I like very much. Really one of my favorites. It's like, a fool never learns from their mistakes. A smart person, they learn from their own mistakes.
Yeah.
A wise person, they learn from other people's mistakes, which is exactly why I like to read books and things like that. Because it's literally a way to okay, what do you do? Okay, oh yeah, you messed up there? Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go here. Which, you always make mistakes, but at some point, it's better to avoid
You have to learn. At some point you learn, yeah.
What's been your favorite mistake?
My favorite personal mistake? I don't know if this was a mistake, since I don't know what could have happened.
Okay.
But in my past, I was a very avid soccer player, right? Football player. I was a goalkeeper. I still am. I still play goalkeeping. I still play.
Very good, very good, yeah.
Yeah, but I was a very big goalkeeping player. I don't think you even know this story, but the story is that when I was 14, 15 years old, I was ingressed in a juniors soccer team in Maracaibo called Fundawam, Fundación Unión Atlético Maracaibo. So it's an acronym for Foundation Athletic Union of Maracaibo. It is the senior team is the team of the city. They've gone to Copa America, so essentially they've gone to the Champions League of South America. They've won, national tournaments and cups. They're a very good team. So they make, the lower division of the teams for younger individuals, such as myself. I played there since I've been 12 or 13, and I left when I left the country. Well, a year before I left the country, I left the team. I was too old. What happened? We went to a tournament in Mérida. I by other people's perception and my perception of how I played, I was a little above average as a goalkeeper. I wasn't very tall back then. I was very fast, very good distribution of the ball. That was me. I was a sort of good goalkeeper. We have like even tiers of the team. We have like the national, A, B, C, D.
Right.
So the national is not that you're the national team level. It's just that
Like
you are the
the
best
highest, yeah.
of your subdivision because you played as a sub 15.
Right.
Under 15, under 17, under 19, under 13. So when I was under 15, I went to a tournament in Merida, a state. The thing about that state and that area, the Andes, the mountains region, is that essentially the best soccer players of the country come from there. Higher mountains, more need of having a more developed lung capacity.
yeah.
And they still have, the same football culture of the rest of the nation, so they just export them like crazy. The best people come from there. We played a tournament there against their state selection, so the best players of our age division of the country, of the state. We played against other subdivisions of other teams of the state. We played against teams of Caracas, the capital, so even a lot of good players even come from there because there's so many people living there. Essentially what I'm trying to say is it was a very hard tournament, and we came second place. The first place, the selection of the state, because their fucking goalkeeper, like, very bad word, but it still impresses me nowadays, was the under 17 of the national team. So this kid is not professional. I forgot the name. If you give me a face of it, I can try to make it out.
Yeah.
But he was the under 17 of the Vinotinto. He probably wears this shirt now, like as a soccer player. So we came second place. I played amazing in that tournament. Generally speaking, not even like trying to make it off. It was a fact. I played so good. Even I was competing, not really. I was competing against other two goalkeepers, and they lost their first place on the team against me.
Right.
So when we were coming back, my manager, his name was Sandy, by the way, like super weird name, but his name was Sandy. A very good player, very good coach. I like the guy a lot. He gets a call where we're like eating in a roadside restaurant, and he tells me, Samuel, we literally had a call about the under 15 Vinotinto team, so the under 15 national team. And they told me, they want you to come to another state called Táchira to play with them an international tournament against Colombia and Mexico and Ecuador. So, a big thing. And in that moment, I was given essentially a crossroads. Either I continue my life, I'll be an engineer, I'll be, a professional, all of that, or I can be a soccer player as a profession. Because if I made it to that tournament and I keep up with the momentum, who knows, And I called my dad. That was the first thing I said. Let me call my dad. Let me see. So I called my dad, and he told me that same thing. You're at a crossroad. Choose what you want to be. What do you want to be? And I said, I want to be a civil engineer. I want to be an engineer. I want to go to college. I don't think I'll make it as a goalkeeper. I wasn't sure of it. Because I knew this tournament, my performance was very good. It was not the average. So I go to Táchira, and I play somewhat well, It can even be a decline. If I choose the wrong road, it's very hard to go to the other road because now it's, harder to go to each one. The distance.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, I guess how old were you though? Were you like right before coming to college?
No, I was 15 years old.
I mean, at that point, I think you should be open to trying it out. Right?
No, but like you need
But
to
that's
study
the
for
thing.
the SAT and everything.
If I try it out,
but okay,
that means that I would have chosen this road. So I have to keep going.
Like fully, yeah.
Yeah.
Like not just like, I want to be like goalkeeper, but also I want to be studying for the
Yeah,
SAT.
that means responsibilities.
You
that
choose
means having to go and train so much more that classes will have been an hindrance for me,
Right, but you choose that. Like you're still very young. You're
Yeah.
not like 30 or 35 where you cannot like afford to make the wrong decision, right?
Yeah.
You're still like at a very young spot, and I think even if it didn't work out, you'd still have so many years in front of you where you could still like choose to be an engineer. And Like, I don't know
Who
what's
have
to
taken,
lose.
you
What's
know,
to lose?
It's a thing about like you have to have a head start. You have to start the race well, essentially, the race of life. So, you know, you take this road and you have this other road. The distance you have to take once you've been enough time on this road to the other road you want to take, you have to do either this or directly this, but it takes time. It's a lost effort. It's a lost inversion that I did this, and the amount of probability that I had for this to work is like 1 in a million, because that's the amount of like soccer players that actually make it in their life. Of the amount who try.
and even those who make it, like you're not really making it.
But would that
you're really like go higher, yeah.
would accepting it mean that you have chosen soccer for the rest of your life, or was it like you
If
could
I chose this, yes, that would have meant that. I think it would have meant that, and if I tried to go to the other road, it would have been very difficult. Because
why do you think that?
Because, let's give an example. I go to Táchira to play. That was a 1 month long tournament. That was in the middle of my classes, right? So I play with them. You know, if I go there, if I told my dad I'm gonna play there, if my mentality was to play, that meant that now my mentality is not thinking about being an engineer. My mentality is to be a soccer player.
Sure.
This road is off. This is now the new road. So that means that now I have to train, have to play, I have to do more. A bigger anxiety is put above my head. Apart from that is the thing that now schoolwork is a hindrance. I probably have to leave high school, or if I try to continue, I won't go to university. I'll probably graduate with bad or low grades because I've been doing so much about soccer. And now goes the possibility. I make it. If I make it, then that's amazing. But that's a 1 in a million possibility. What about the other 999,999?
Yeah, but I do think
I fail, and now I have to go back to high school. I'll probably have very bad grades, so I won't go to a very good university. And now I essentially shot myself in the knee or in the foot by doing that.
I don't know. Like
It would have been harder though to like learn like math and like whatever and like take the exams.
I would have changed my whole life paradigm by doing only
Right,
soccer,
right.
You know?
And like the thing is,
Like I get it that
Like
I
you
will
shouldn't
be
be.
young
You shouldn't be
still.
like.
I get it. I get it as a fact that you're trying to tell me that I should never discard many options in my life because, you know, I still have time and maybe they work out, or maybe I can just not do it anymore and won't have any consequences. But this was a big crossroads. Like, it was a
but I
big
think a better
decision.
question would have been like, which one would have been more interesting?
Nah! It would have been interesting to do soccer.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
know,
Like-
well,
Like you're 15.
Like if you don't know what to do, you just file for whatever is interesting, and then like things will work out. But
like it's not
like
like
that would be so much interesting. Yeah, that would be like a fun life with just
Yeah.
playing soccer for money. Yeah.
I don't think any,
That would be good,
any
yeah.
of the options are wrong. I don't think that's true. Like it's
No.
not. It's not like this is wrong or only this is right. I
Yeah.
think they both can be the right choice for you depending on how you end up on that path. Like how you end up doing what you do once you choose that path.
I personally don't think I would have made it. That's first of all.
Okay.
I personally don't think I would.
But that's good.
I personally don't think I would have made it pro. So, amateur.
But you know, but that
Or
takes a
anything.
lot of like you know self-awareness in a way.
Yeah.
Because like
I know.
because like you could have believed, yeah, it'll be good, and like that belief could have been enough to actually make it.
But that's also
But,
can be like self-deception. You know, like you're self-lying to yourself.
Right.
But what's the
you
difference
make that
in-
mistake, but you would have emerged as a smarter human being.
No, I would have made it out as a guy who lost time. You know.
Yeah, but you're
Because
still young.
I think I
come on.
learned new stuff. I probably would have been more fit. I probably would have known more about soccer tactics or goalkeeping, you know, mentality. But not about, you know, life, you know, skills or work skills or even personal skills that will be useful if I will make it past, you know, the threshold of being a professional soccer player.
Right. So
And I knew I would have made it as a matter of like that's like the context of it all as well. I knew I was gonna make it. I could have. That's the what if. That's where the what if comes in. Maybe I could have been it, or made it. But now looking in, you know, retrospective, now knowing about a lot of stuff about myself and my abilities, And even the Venezuelan situation of soccer, not a lot of soccer players from Venezuela come out, and apart from like other countries like Colombia, because we are not very good soccer players. Remember, our national team is very bad. A few come out, but like in the hundreds of the millions who try. And you're competing against other nations who have better programs than you. Like, you have such odds stacked against you.
Right, so you're...
That in that moment I knew it wasn't worth it. As much as I wanted to be that, like I was like, that would be great. That would be very good for me. I knew I was gonna make it, so I made the best decision given my options and given the context.
How much of that was intuition or just rational?
Wait, what?
Like how much of that decision was like just intuitive, like it just came from your gut, and the other one just came like, okay, like you were just thinking?
It was, I thinked for it. I remember that I gave the decision like an hour later of just talking
So like
with my dad
you knew.
and speaking with myself. It wasn't that I knew. I just thought about the scenario. I just
Right.
imagined the scenario. I was like, let's go through a simulation. I go. Then what happens? What are the chances? What's the probability?
Was it a Python simulator or MATLAB? Or
Nah, MATLAB, better, MATLAB. So I just thought about it.
Yeah.
I essentially did like a normal steps of, okay, I have this, then I have either this, like an algorithm, right? So I go, okay, I have this decision, this other decision, this other decision. I have now 3 scenarios, goes for more, right? This deletes itself because I failed, keeps going. So from this to this point, how many scenarios I failed? A lot. How many did it? Just one. The chance of it being the one I'm doing right now, very low. I didn't like those chances. I'm not gambling. I'm not a gambling man.
Yeah.
I might like to play poker or blackjack, but I'm not that much of a gambling addict.
Yeah. Well, earlier, we had this professor, and he was like, saying, engineers are conservative.
We are. That is true. That is true. Yes.
So your decision was guided by, not by what you liked, but more by probability.
I took those in my decision rationale. Of course, I was like, am I capable? What can I do? What do I feel? And I failed.
But like, you weren't a capable engineer then. How would you have known if you had turned out to be a good engineer?
Because
you're 15.
I want to be an engineer as well. I was 15 years
Right.
old. I was thinking about college,
So
I was having like good grades in math and physics. I liked to see my dad work, and I was like, I want to do that. He was a mechanical engineer, but he worked as a civil engineer doing, hydrological services and electrical stations. So I was like, I want to do that. My mom is also a civil engineer. I want to do that. My sister's applying to college. I like to see her writing, essays talking about her life. I want to do that when. No, hey, I like that. I really like that. Like,
What did you write in your essay?
I don't remember that.
So just BS then. You don't remember?
No. I remember that was, I personally used Venezuela. I remember a lot in my essays.
Yeah.
Context. You give context. You say, oh,
Yeah.
the country's very bad, but resilience and trying to move forward, all of that, which is true.
Yeah.
But the essays, if I try to jog my memory a little bit, I think they were a mix about why you want to do that, why you chose us.
Yeah.
I think they were like
an incident that changed your life, and like those sort of
yeah.
questions.
I think there was
Yeah.
one like that. Do you remember yours or?
Mine?
Yeah.
Of course, man.
No. We got this guy. He probably has like a thing in his like wall room
Yeah.
with the entire
Yeah.
essay written right
No,
there.
it's funnily enough. So you can request your application and see what they thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you
Like
want,
with notes?
Yeah.
Or just saying
so like literally what they thought of you and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not done
Have
it.
you done it?
I've
Yeah,
not done
I didn't want to do it because like I don't want to. I don't care what they think. But I did it anyway.
How do you do that?
You just a template. I'll send you the template. It's an email.
Okay,
It's
okay,
like,
okay, nice.
By the law, whatever the hell, like whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
so they were like, yeah, this guy's not very, this guy, I don't know, it's a little weird, he
They told you that.
yeah, because I mean, so when I moved to the U.S., right, I didn't know any English or anything, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
I couldn't take, even though I knew like algebra 1, like I didn't know anything what was going on. So like you
basics.
just put me in the most basic one. So like to catch up is like in like 3 years is like hard to actually like catch up like that.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, and I tried to summer classes, but like I guess it wasn't good enough to like do that, whatever. But or I didn't care. But
Nice.
so yeah, so it was like, oh yeah, so this guy has not taken like AP Calc and AP Physics and all that
Oh,
shit.
they were like roasting you.
No, literally. Yeah. And they were like, so they actually did not accept me on the first time. So I applied early action. So they were like,
Oh, early action? They said no.
yeah. So they were like, yeah, actually, yeah, defer this guy, whatever. So they all said like defer. Okay, whatever. Thank you. And then I wrote, and then they reviewed the application again, and you see the comments, and they were like, yeah, I don't know about this guy. Just accept him, but like on the minimal level, whatever. And like some people like say like don't accept him, like 2 people. And then one person was like, yeah, he's not very strong in like academic wise, but he has a really inspiring writing style. Accept. So literally because of the essay.
The essay saved your gut.
Well, I don't know if it's about saving or anything, but like that literally.
The way you told me, yes.
Yeah, it definitely helped. So.
Wow. I
Like
think
that.
you do.
No, the essay was good though. The essay was really good.
In that case, then I'll have it acceptable to you too. You know.
Yeah.
Big, like
Yeah.
demarcation with exactly it frames the entire essay like this saved my life. Like this made it to where I am today. That's good.
That's
a good
true.
story,
That's true. Yeah, so you can require. It's actually pretty. It's pretty
Send
cool.
me that template. I would like to know. I want to know how much they probably felt like, this Venezuelan boy, dumbass,
No.
like what's that country? We don't know about it.
No, I think for you, I mean, you got in everything, so it was fine. So.
No, I think the IB helped me a lot. I did that. International Baccalaureate. My SAT scores were good.
Yeah, so we're chilling.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was not into
you were
stuff like that.
You were just
You're just doing.
cruising through. Yeah.
On what?
Because the essay just done. Yes.
Yeah.
They were like, yes,
Yeah.
we want.
Yeah. So they literally like just look at the essay, don't look at anything else. But like, just looking at the essay would have gone into
Nice.
anywhere.
I want to see that. I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Good. Damn. Was this like your dream school here, UIUC? Or
You can say that.
really?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, come on.
No, yeah. So I mean, my aim was like somewhere else, obviously.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
You can probably guess. I mean,
Northwestern.
no, of course not. But
University.
Stanford.
yeah,
Berkeley?
like, stuff. No, I didn't apply there. Just like the other fancy places. But like,
like the Ivy School.
Yeah.
Like the Pompous
so I
Pricks.
applied to all of them.
No.
I applied like all of the like.
I
whatever.
didn't.
Huh?
I didn't apply to any of them.
This was your only college?
No, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't that confident.
But
I applied to like 10 colleges.
and
So-
this was the one you chose
Because
You got in.
come on, like the other 9 told him no. Like, come on. Those are good odds then. I like those odds.
no. If this was the only college that accepted me, then I would have had no choice. But
Of course.
the reason why I chose Illinois was first because I wanted to do mechanical engineering. And, like this college was known for its engineering program.
Yeah.
So that was one reason. I did a little research about like job prospects. Let's say because Midwest is like for mechanical engineers especially, it's like a hub.
Ooh. Alright.
Like all the manufacturing like companies and like car companies, most of them they're like based in Midwest.
Caterpillar.
Caterpillar,
Is
John
from
Deere,
Peoria.
Ford,
Yeah.
all of those. So
No, Ford's not
Ford
from-
is in Michigan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Midwest area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Midwest.
that's good. That's good. The Rust Belt.
yeah. And the other, I think, I looked at a few like student organizations. I think I mentioned solar car in my essay. I don't remember. I
Bro,
think I did.
They were just.
like-
he was roasting you about like not doing soccer. You were like the most like, oh, like what about jobs? And, like,
Yeah, I was like blind then.
Yeah.
I was like,
A blind man.
and
he was roasting you so
Now
hard.
we know.
He was and like he just like, what about jobs? And like what RSOs?
But now is when we learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, history. Now you need to know.
and then I heard like he's coming to college here, so I was like, I have
No,
to.
he literally reached out to me on LinkedIn. He was like,
Yeah.
excuse me, Mr. Campolargo.
No.
I want to be like you one day. Whatever. And I was like, listen.
Like the Big Daddy, or like he's like a fucking role
So
model.
listen. So he was. I told him, brother,
Yeah.
I'll be going to the University of Urbana-Champaign. So if
Yeah.
you like, I can teach you my ways over there. So yeah.
The Messiah, so the one who leads. That's good, man. Yeah, I remember my first day here, but not like of classes. I remember my first day here in campus, because when I was accepted, from that until a week before classes, you know, the whole orientation week and everything, I didn't visit the campus. Like, it was the first, you know, it was like a Sunday or Saturday when the doors opened. I went to ISR, Townsend Hall, before it was remodeled. So, you know, it was like one of the worst.
He lived, yeah.
One of the worst
there. He
doors.
lived there too.
You live in ISR as well?
We lived at ISR, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Townsend as well?
First year, yeah. That's where we met.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I lived in there, Townsend as well.
Yeah.
I know it changed a lot, so I won't even try to make you imagine it, because it's so much worse than you can think about. It was very bad. But I remember my first day here that I had like a little bit of a long hair. I like let myself go like this big, you know. So I remember that my dad was like, okay, first day, let's make good impressions. Let's go to a barbershop like right now. Guess which one we did?
On the quad?
It was on Green Street, like the barbershop.
Well, so your dad cut yourself?
No, he took me to a shop. He didn't kill myself.
Yeah.
It's one called like Supreme Fates, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like one right next to like Chopsticks.
Oh yeah.
The one in that same building.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, and you know, I was like bold. I went up to the guy and I told him. I always tell every guy I go to a barbershop, I'm like, okay, cut this in the side and here in the middle, good.
Damn,
you know, like
right.
good and nice. Yeah, good and nice. You know? So yeah. And the guy I was with, he probably took it very literally, because he immediately whips out the number 2, you know, the number 2, like
Razor?
the razor, yeah. And he just goes in like, and I use glasses, right? So when I go and cut, you know, my hair, I take them off. I cannot see very well. I have you know, myopia, so I cannot see far. So I don't know what the guy's doing. And my dad, he's like laughing. And I was like, hey, ¿qué pasó? Like, what's going on? Why are you laughing, Dad? It's like, no, don't worry about it, son. And he was like doing like this with the guy, go, keep going. And the guy was going hard, you know. So, you know, the guy's like, I'm done, my son, let's go. And I put my glasses on. And imagine all of this, that like this, like almost no hair. All of this like a soccer player,
Yeah.
like this.
Like, the name of the shop was Supreme Fates.
Supreme Fates.
So
yeah,
you did get a Supreme Fade.
I did get a Supreme Fade. So I remember that for my entire first month there in college, I always wore a cap. I was like, always a cap. Like, you know, it's so bad. I'm like, and I didn't have, you know, enough, you know, courage to tell the guy I don't like this. But
I mean, you
it
could
would have done nothing essentially,
I mean,
because it was damage was done. It's like we would give some glue and like, okay, my son, let's fix this. You know? Strand by strand, gluing to my head. No, it was that. I remember first semester was fun.
Do you have any other like favorite memories or stories like that? Like, it doesn't have to be first year, but like now you're almost done.
Yeah, almost done. A few more months. Stories, like funny stories, or like
Yeah, just one, like whatever you think of.
I remember that my first year, I was 17 when I got in. My birthday in September 25th, not now. So I'm expecting a gift from you later.
Sure.
You too. Very good.
I'll give you a soccer ball.
Nice. I actually need one. Mine got destroyed. So it didn't even got like Alan, you know. Alan.
Yeah.
He lost the ball from the rooftop of the hub. He was like playing with it and he lost the ball. Gone forever.
So no one went to pick
So
it up.
So no
He was
one
in
went
the
to pick
building.
it up.
It was on Green Street, this big building.
Oh,
Dude, the hub.
It's like
It
next to the
went up.
bookstore.
It went up, and the guy hasn't even bid me yet.
So he just didn't go pick up the ball.
He was like, "I'm sorry, man. I just lost it." It was, No, pero the story. So yeah, I got here 17 years old, 18 years old first semester, 19 years old third semester.
Yeah.
So in that freshman year period, you could have gone to go if you want to go out, right? You go to a friend's dorm, you go to the quad. At night, if you're gonna go out, you can just chill in the quad, go around. You want to go to a party, first 2 weeks, of course, rush week. So you go to a dorm, going around. It was fun, but then the 2 weeks go by. You cannot go in unless you're like a pledge, you're like trying to get in that. So you ran out of options. And I remember that we befriended a lot of like upperclassmen who were going to bars and such. So we're trying to get in those so much. We even tried to like falsify passports because we didn't have, we didn't want to spend like $100 per like fake ID and such. So we tried so many options, being denied every time. All for it to just doesn't matter because in my sophomore year I just went to a bar on my birthday and I was like, okay. Old camps, I remember. It was good. The floor was always full of like spilled drinks, so it always made like in a corner of the bar, it always made like a little puddle. So it was sticky, the floor as well. It wasn't worth it, no. But it was good. That's the story. I cannot divulge. I cannot divulge too much. I was thinking about it like
He was like,
showed
oh yeah,
him a
the
lot
floor
of-
was sticky. Oh my goodness.
No,
I
no.
thought you were gonna have like a whole like punchline or something.
No.
Like, yeah.
floor was
Because
sticky.
in the middle of the story,
My
I had to break it. Break the story.
Okay.
No,
fine.
no. No, very good.
To end here, you've been here for 4 years. You're
Yeah.
almost you could consider yourself a man. What advice would you give?
I already was a man when I got here.
Well, fair enough. But
You hadn't stepped on sticky floors yet, though.
I had to do that to become
Yeah,
a man,
yeah.
okay? It was part of the hazing, come on.
what advice would you give to a younger person, either a freshman or in
A
high
younger
school?
Sam?
Or like an immigrant.
Or a younger...
Or like
an
international student,
an
let's say.
immigrant, like someone's going from different countries to
Yeah.
study here. Like what
Ooh.
advice would you give them? Or what would you tell them?
A immigrant student, first year.
First year. First
Yeah.
time coming to a new
And I gotta
country.
be like the mentor. I gotta be like,
Yeah.
let's help you out.
Yeah.
I'll be for classes or social or personal.
Everything, life.
Anything you think is important.
Okay, let's go step by step then. There's a lot to know. So, academic-wise, if freshman student, always try to talk with your advisor about what you think you're capable of in your first year, because that essentially shows you how you begin, how the rest of your college life will be. If you start with calculus, you start with physics, you start with Chem 104, 105, there's a lot
Right.
of permutations you can choose in your starting classes that
Okay.
will decide the rest of the classes further down the line. You can take summer classes to
Sure.
try to change that, but it'll be that. So always have your advisor, with the whole proficiency exams, be like,
Right.
this is what I'm capable of. I want to start with a C, a D, an F.
Right, so
Let's start
advice.
good. Let's start with what I can be able to do my first semester, second semester.
Okay.
Academics, try not to choose the worst possible, hours because, you'll be in a dorm. It's a hassle to get out. 8 a.m. classes, Monday, is very bad. But if you have no choice, try to have enough sleep, 8 hours at least. Don't destroy it. Even if you don't think you have enough information for the next day for a quiz, sleep the 8 hours.
Okay.
There's nothing about it. Office hours. Use them as much. The university has so many resources, as the library, as tutoring,
Okay.
as office hours, as so much possible help, that you have to make use of it. You're paying the university thousands already in tuition. Use what you're paying for, And the bus, use the bus. The bus is nice. And buy a bike if you can. Buy a bike if you can. That's very important.
Yeah.
Even though you can't use it for half a year because of the snow, buy a bike. That was a lifesaver. Even if you're very late for class, just hop in straight to to Noise Hall Or are you going to Algo? I don't know, whatever.
or just walk and run.
But that means that you can, then what if you're late? You have to run.
Yeah, fair.
Get a bike. And with a bike, you have more options of transport. You want to visit the Arboretum? Very nice place. Very quiet, very nice to study even for some people. Or
Alright.
you want to look at the trees?
Like
Get there
yeah.
in 10 minutes. Fast.
All right. So
Academics. Personal life. Your roommate doesn't matter a lot in your dorms because you use it only for sleep if you want. That is
Okay.
the only thing you can do. You want to cook? There's a kitchen downstairs. You want to work out? Go to the gym. You want to study? Study in the library. Study in wherever you want.
okay.
In the lobby of the ISR even. It's very nice to study there. You sleep there. It doesn't matter who you have. As long as you don't give them and they don't give you a reason to be angry, just cruise through it. Don't try to force a friendship if there is nothing to do there. They are your roommates. They can
Okay.
they might not be your friends, and it doesn't matter because the way you make friends, in your social life is through classes, through RSOs. RSOs. Personally, I'm not a big fan of those. International student, that's very good because you can join not an RSO but a international student association. Not a member of it, but you go to the house. The Spanish one or the Hispanic one is the La Casa Latina. So every Thursdays they have free foods. You meet people from your country, maybe, or people from similar country as yours. Or you go to the other houses, the Asian American or the Asian house.
For the food, right?
Man, it's an incentive. It's good to have that incentive because students
I
go.
like it. I know. I
Free
mean,
food, and you need your iCard for entry because
Yeah.
you're indirectly paying for it.
yeah. I created a Twitter bot for free food. You know what it is?
A Twitter bot.
Yeah. So people submit free food. I'll send it to you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's telling me some good information. This is good. The template for why I was chosen the Twitter bot. Did you program it or?
Yeah. So like.
Oh.
No, there's nothing crazy. But
big man here.
So literally, I created as a way to it's like a user generator, so people can submit. Okay, here, there's a fruit here, come here, whatever.
I get it. But
So events and stuff like
but
that.
that's input from real people or from other bots?
Real people.
Real
Oh.
people. So if you know for
It's
food,
not automated. It
I
doesn't,
thought it was like
it doesn't
automated
like
from
search the
searches.
internet and
No.
then just
Yeah, yeah.
automatically.
That's a little.
This will be
that
good.
would be like the ultimate goal.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would
No,
be
but
good.
that's way too messy. I coded it after during
No,
finals.
we can go for keywords. I don't know.
No, it's still too hard.
Or you can just-
I don't care enough about it, so I just literally did it from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
on a finals
4 a.m.
day or something. Yeah.
You crazy guy. Right?
No, because I was so mentally underwhelmed with just for finals.
You want to take your mind off it.
No, I was underwhelmed. I was so bored.
You were done.
No, I wasn't done. I still have things, but I was bored. So I just didn't want to do any final thing, so I just did this thing.
He just goes.
Yeah, it's not.
That's how
recommended.
you know he likes what he's doing, right?
Anyway, okay, so
Social life.
personal,
So,
and then
personal life.
We did academic,
We did
personal.
academics. We did social.
personal.
Now personal life. The third one.
No, you did personal already.
No, that was social.
That was
I
social.
talked
Oh,
about.
okay, got it.
Because I was telling you about the roommate.
Got it.
I was telling you about go to La Casa Cultural Latina.
Eat
Go
food.
there. Eat food. It's free. Go to events as well. If you're a religious person or not, if you have some interest that don't need. I'm not saying don't go to an RSO. If you like poker a lot, there's a poker RSO. I went to it. It wasn't good because they didn't spend money, which was what I was interested in. But it was good. It was good.
That's good. That's good. That's true though.
And they also played 5 cards, so no. I like that. I like Texas Hold'em,
All right.
whole shebang. But that is social life.
Okay.
Now have fun. Personal life. If you have to do it by obligation, like someone calling you to remind you or putting 1 billion alarms about it, personal hygiene is a big thing. Go to the bathroom, take a bath, wash your face, I don't know, do stuff about it.
All right.
Have as one of the biggest priorities as personal hygiene. Having a calendar is good. personally. I don't know, it doesn't work with other people, and some people work.
Okay.
But try to find a way of memorizing assignments and memorizing important data. Having a calendar, having a whiteboard this size in your room, anything that you can see and write on it
All right.
in order to memorize stuff. You have an assignment due this day. This is a project for Saturday. Next Monday is the midterms. So you can organize yourself. If you cannot do it by your own mind or having like a own notebook, have something big, visualize it.
Right.
Make it as pretty as you want.
Okay.
Don't make it disorganized. Like, make it good. Make it so you have to do it slowly so you memorize it. Because from what I've seen and personally, by writing stuff, it somehow like imprints in your brain.
Sure.
It leaves a trace on what you did. It helps you remind. Not by saying to yourself, oh, there's an assignment on next Tuesday. That's it.
Okay.
No, like, put your mind on it. Try to call your parents as much as possible. Like, all the time, if you can. Or have a schedule of them. Every 2 days, call your sister, or your mother, or your father, or your brother, or your grandmother. Because you won't be seeing them a lot, since you are in another country.
Right.
They're not from. You might be seeing them on Thanksgiving or winter break. At the very most, you know?
Right.
Call them as much, FaceTime as much, tell them what you're doing. If you know what to talk about, just tell them what you're doing or what you want to do. Oh, I was thinking about playing soccer. I met this guy from Venezuela. He's good. Let's see how he plays, you know. Bad talk, you know. Keep that connection going on.
The other thing you can do is that you can create a WhatsApp group, and then so you can with your dad, and then add a friend to it. So that's what he did. So he created a WhatsApp group with his dad and me.
Why?
So we can keep the connection going.
But why you? why you did?
Because I'm a lost brother.
No.
He is, yeah.
Like brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. It's true. So like
These
create
are
a
not
chat with
like
your
obligations. These are like sort of like
like
broad
things that could help you.
guidelines.
Yeah.
What can help? Like all of these might not even help someone specifically, but these are like broad guidelines that might affect a lot of people. So each one, might help you or not. But it's up to the individual, up to the example. More or less.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
So to end our section here, we have a section called overrated or underrated.
Oh, okay.
So the first one, he'll go next. The first one is frats. You were a frat boy at one point. So
for a
frats,
semester.
underrated or overrated?
Personally, I would say very overrated. You're paying for a friendship. You're paying to be in a community. You are demanding a lot of time, a lot of commitment, a lot of stuff. Some of them have archaic, laws with them. Some do hazing, but, in the hush-hush. You know what? Can I do this as a more complex instead of saying underrated, overrated?
Sure.
Because there are frats who are very good. They're engineering frats.
Okay, let's just
Very good
listen.
engineering
Like,
frats.
I don't care what people think. I want to know what you think. I don't care about what does the chancellor think.
okay.
I don't give a shit
Overrated.
about what he
I would
thinks.
say highly overrated. That's what I would
Okay.
say. As simple as that. Listo. Do I have to justify my answer?
Just a little bit.
A little bit. From personal experience, from people I know who've been in it and all of that, I've seen that, I said, you're paying for a friendship or for being a community. They have weird laws. You have to do time commitment and personal commitment.
What was the you told me like brother whatever when you were paying and then you stopped paying and
And
they did
radio
not
silence. Radio silence.
like they did not recognize you
Yeah,
anymore.
because they have their buddies, their brothers, and pledges and such.
So you're only a brother once you pay. But you don't pay, you're not a brother.
Yeah, literally, yeah. That's how it works. You have a membership fee to be in the frat. Yeah.
You mean a brother fee?
Ooh.
Brother fee.
I
Yeah.
like that. Brother. Like everything they say is like brother. Oh, let's go to the brother lunch and at the brother dining hall. You know, nah. Overrated. I would say overrated. It has there's a cost, a very big cost from the benefits it gives you. And those benefits you can even get them without paying by having friends through elsewhere or other, alternative sources.
You're saying hi to people.
Yeah, just
You
being
see-
a
you-
normal
you-
guy.
and you see
You
where
don't
that
need
leads
to
you.
pay.
Yeah.
It's very pompous. It's very, it's weird. It's Greek life. Overrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I probably know the answer to this one, but you interested in soccer, so Ted Lasso.
The series?
Yeah.
Underrated as much as possible. Very good series, very solid. I'm angry because a lot of people who I met seen only the first episodes and like, oh, American comedy about not knowing soccer. Oh, so good. No, so they don't like that because that's how they thought it was gonna be. It's a very good series, very good character. Not even very good. Amazing characters. The dialogue is one of the best I've genuinely seen in a series. It's very good. The comedy is very good. The character, like interactions in the 2 seasons.
What do you mean? What do you mean interactions?
Yeah.
Interactions.
Oh, got it.
Talking. They talk.
Talking. Oh,
they talk.
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, no. Yes, and it's about football, so it's extra interesting. It adds.
All right.
And the best part is, even if you don't like soccer or you don't even know anything about it,
right.
you still like the series
You'll still
because
like
the
it.
series is not only about soccer. It's about personal health. It's about relationship with people. It's about being away from your family. The series protagonist, Ted Lasso, the name, is very good. It's a very solid protagonist. Very good. I highly recommend anyone to see the series. By far.
Yeah, personally, I'm not watching anymore. But the two I've seen, I'll ever see in my life will be Money Heist and The Ozarks. And those have been really good, and I'm not interested in putting
How
any
about
more.
those? Underrated, overrated between those two?
So Money Heist,
And
I think it's.
each one.
I think some people really like it, and for those who say underrated. But for me, it's underrated.
Underrated.
I think it's overrated.
I think it's
No,
overrated as
especially
well.
like the last episode. Coldplay was there, man. Come on. And then,
Coldplay was there.
So I just watched the last episode and be happy with the entire
song.
series.
I mean, there was a Coldplay song there. And then,
I thought it was gonna be Coldplay, like ruin the mascot. Oh,
yeah,
where's the clocks? Where's the yellow?
While the heist is happening, they're playing outside.
and then Ozarks.
Yellow.
Ozarks is very good too. Like really nicely done.
Ozarks.
Like the colors, like
Ozarks,
even I don't
yes.
know much about cinematography and colors, but you can see, you can feel when they're in different places, like the color and the camera is just very well done.
Yeah. That's
Very
true.
well done. So
What about you? What are your favorite series that you would say over or underrated?
he's watching the Hulk sister.
Oh.
She-Hulk?
No, I wouldn't talk that doesn't even come in.
Okay. Your
say-
favorites.
Dark. It's underrated. Have you seen it?
I tried to watch it.
You tried to?
I could.
No way.
It was too boring.
No.
At the first.
No, initial start is slow.
I tried.
Then it gets so
I
interesting.
really tried, but I remember going 20 minutes went by in the episode in which
Yeah, you would
nothing
not know. Yeah.
happens,
Because you don't know what's happening.
It's not that I don't know. The characters, I forgot their names. I forgot what they want.
Trust me.
I didn't. I
If you,
couldn't connect.
do you like time travel and thinking about something very deeply?
I like the
when
movies.
you watch a series, do you like thinking about it deeply, or do you just like?
Oh, I really get into the series if I'm interested.
Okay, then
of
watch
course.
Dark. Trust me.
If I
Wait for it.
if I have to make myself do it, I'll try.
Okay.
What's your favorite one?
My favorite series?
It's it's something with Amazon, right? Or
No.
some sort of a space thing or whatever.
My favorite series or movie? You meant?
Both, just
Oh, movies? Interstellar.
Oh, I agree.
By
Agreed.
far,
Agreed.
far my favorite movie of all time.
Definitely. He has not seen Interstellar
I haven't
yet.
seen it yet.
You still need.
And you missed it because you cannot see it on IMAX anymore. That's how you saw it. Yeah, that's how you see them.
What do you mean?
An IMAX. like
Oh,
a
sure.
very good
Okay,
cinema.
calm down.
Like you need
But,
that. Like it's not like you can watch on your phone. No, like you need this. You need this the movie, sounds. You need the movie visuals. It's very
I need to buy
necessary.
an IMAX then. But
Yeah, buy the
Buy the entire
100,000
theater.
camera IMAX television series and television series I liked a lot. I'm gonna say Game of Thrones, season 1 to 4, the beginning, when the dialogue was the best, the visuals were the best, and the characters were the best. After that, it doesn't exist. Like I have my own theory that they all die because like a meteor like crashed in Westeros and
yeah,
That's the end.
the actor of like one of the actors on Game of Thrones is actually a student here. Have you seen him already?
right now.
No, I'm kidding. But there's a guy who looks exactly the same as other people.
Azul.
Like I think it's the guy who's short.
Tyrion.
I don't know.
I
that
don't
guy.
know.
Like
But
the small boy.
short guy with like a beard, long hair. Yes.
Oh, Peter Dinklage?
Yeah.
That's
Peter
the act-
Dinklage.
There's
yes.
a guy. Oh my goodness. He must be his.
I
his
think I saw
cousin.
him as well.
Yeah,
I
you've
once
just
saw
seen
him
him?
here. I once saw him here. Yeah.
Yeah.
At a party. But yeah.
He's very like particular, whatever,
Yeah.
and he just very like that.
I think I've seen him once. Yeah. But yeah, those are my two things. What else you got for me for underrated, overrated, or like this?
Like what?
So underrated or overrated?
Okay, I like that. So this one is really interesting, but the color red has been used throughout history as a way to showcase a different to showcase a really specific movement, a political movement. Even you have red in your background. I don't know if you realize.
This is orange.
No, it's red.
It's red.
If we were gonna be a line here, orange and blue.
So,
ILL.
so,
I and I.
so the color red, overrated, or underrated?
That's too broad.
Yeah, that is too
That
broad.
is-
No, like the
very
color
broad.
red as like in Venezuela, like we use the color red as
For what?
What do you mean for what? You forgot now?
Spell it out.
No, it's like for political stuff. Like it has been
Like for
the
the
like
government.
Russia used to, like Venezuela used to, like
For the communists.
yeah.
And the socialists. I would say very overrated because
Like-
they took over the color, without any need, and they basically taint its context, its meaning by having that bad history behind of it, Essentially, I would say like overrated because of the way they took it, and of how very how they say this llamativo,
Yeah,
very,
like attentive.
it's very attentive to know. Oh, red. It immediately evokes you the feeling of that, the memories, the feeling, the history. So overrated, like way back.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us and
My pleasure.
sharing
Thank you.
your stories. We
Thank
definitely
you very
enjoyed it.
much for receiving me here. It was very nice. It was very
course.
good.
It was hard to like receive you here because of your size, but like once we receive you, like we put you together and yeah.
Like a Lego set.
Yeah.
Like the legs connected with the abdomen, Hey!
But yeah. So once again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for everyone for watching. In this episode, we got a chance to talk about history. That's something we have explored a little in the past, but Venezuelan history is something that personally I am unaware of, and something that I found very interesting to learn about.
And also the brief history of India.
True.
Like that could be a whole book. Anyway, continue.
Probably is.
Yeah.
And yeah, just following your dreams and surviving as a student in this, like any new university, any new place. There's a lot of knowledge that you can gain by learning from others' mistakes, and I think that's the biggest lesson I would personally take from this conversation. Looking or studying history can always teach you something new about yourself, even though it's not directly related to you. And it's like you never know which door you might knock on when you go exploring. So always seek the impossible, and I'm sure you'll go to great places. Thank you for watching, and stay curious. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. good?
What do you think?